So today we have to see about divergence theorem and Stokes theorem. So we know divergence theorem is dot product one. Divergence means dot product. Like that, Stokes theorem is a cross product one, curl function. Divergence is dot function. Stokes theorem is cross function, cross product. So first we will see what is the divergence theorem. So divergence theorem is states that the total outward flux of a vector field A at the closed surface S is the same as volume integral of divergence of A. That is, the surface integral of closed surface integral of A dot ds is equal to volume integral of del dot A into dV. So here a surface has to be considered. That surface, over that surface, a vector function, that is a vector field A is working. So over a surface we have to consider one vector field, and this vector field present over the surface is equal to the quantified value of a vector, that is quantified value means divergence of A over a value, because divergence of A, that is del dot A is quantifying a particular value over space. Quantifying means we are getting a scalar value from the vector component. So getting a scalar value from a vector component means it should be in the resultant direction. So resultant direction means it is a resultant one of other two directions. So a surface is present over there. Considering other two directional components, the third directional component gives the third direction gives the resultant field. So that's considered over here. The resultant, that is whenever we are getting a value, that value is resultant of other two directions in a three-dimensional space. So that's given over here. Surface integral of A dot ds is equal to volume integral of del dot A into dV. Divergence theorem is well depicted in this link. We will see now what is this surface, what is this volume, what the surface represents, closed surface of A dot ds represents. So the divergence theorem, in divergence theorem over the left hand side we are having surface integral of A dot ds. What is this A dot ds? This is vector field A at closed surface S. So whenever we are considering one vector field, we have to take that vector field over a space, and we have to consider that field is working at a particular point over the space. So we have to take one three-dimensional view, and over the three-dimensional view we have to project one particular point. That should be an arbitrary point, wherever we can pick that point. So we have to pick one arbitrary point over the space, and around that arbitrary point we have to consider one surface, one area. That area here we have considered as a rectangular object. We have to consider rectangular object here because it is a Cartesian coordinate system having x, y, z, and so we have projected the point P, and we have assumed a surface in Cartesian coordinate system like this, and this surface is having differential length of dx, dy, dz over all the three faces, and this rectangular cuboid is having top side 6 faces. As we have seen, cuboid is having 6 faces: top face, right face, left face, front face, bottom face, and back face is there. So these are the surfaces, closed surfaces, what we have considered over here. So we can write this closed integral of A dot ds as integral of front face of A dot ds. Front surface, we are having one surface, so that surface is considered with area, and so front face A dot ds, back face A dot ds, left, right, top and bottom with A dot ds. Like that, the whole structure has to be considered as a volume enclosed by surface, and so V is the volume enclosed by the surface. So this is what divergence theorem holds. So this is the divergence in different coordinate systems, that is Cartesian, cylindrical and spherical coordinate system. What I have already seen the definition of divergence. Then the proof of divergence theorem. To get the proof of divergence theorem, we have to consider cuboid, and over that we have to consider one vector is working over there. So it has been given as let f vector be a smooth vector field defined on a solid region V with boundary surface A oriented outward. We wish to show that volume in A surface integral. A means area means it's a surface multiplication of two dimensions. So area surface integral of f dot dA is equal to volume integral of divergence of f into dV. Here the force acting on is F over a boundary surface A within a solid region V. Solid region means it's a three-dimensional consideration, and so we have to consider the solid region as a volumetric one, and so V, and it holds different surfaces, 6 different face surfaces. As it is a cuboid, 6 faces will be there, so 6 surfaces we have to consider. Those 6 surfaces are given here as boundary surface A, and over this surface we are having one smooth vector field acting on, which is given by F vector. That's given over here, the surfaces with the area, and that area has been considered as surfaces, and based on that we have projected here with different axes. So different axes means when from X we are seeing A2, A4, A6, like that we have to see over here, that is X projected with respect to Y, projected with respect to Z, like that. So if we have to consider through X direction, we have to consider this F vector is defined on rectangular solid V, is having the limit for X, it is A and A to B. The limit is from A to B for X. So A will be in the negative minus X direction, B will be in the positive X direction. Like that for Y, the limit is C to D, where C is the minus Y direction, D is in the plus Y direction. For Z, the limits will be E to F, where E is in the negative Z direction, F is in the positive Z direction. So now we start by computing the flux of F through two faces of V perpendicular to the x-axis. So perpendicular to the x-axis means A1 and A2 are both oriented outward from X. So integral of A1 F dot dA plus integral of A2 F dot dA, two surfaces has been taken, is equal to, so for X we have to consider Y and Z. So the limits we have taken are E and F, C and D, E to F and C to D for Y and Z. We have the limit A to B, A in the negative X, B in the positive X directions. So first, whenever we are considering with the negative X direction, it is minus negative minus into integral of E to F, integral of C to D, F1 of A comma Y comma Z into dy dz, plus integral of, for positive X direction the limit is B, integral of E to F, integral of C to D, F1 of B comma Y comma Z into dy dz. So it can be written as integral of E to F into integral of C to D F1. This 2 has been taken as common because the derivatives are with respect to Y and Z in both the integrals. So F1 of B comma Y comma Z minus F1 of A comma Y comma Z into dy dz. By the theorem, fundamental theorem of calculus, F1 of B comma Y comma Z minus F1 of A comma Y comma Z is equal to integral of A to B for this both are F1 function. So the limit is taken as F1 of A to B dou F1 of dou Z. So F1 of B comma Y comma Z minus F1 of A comma Y comma Z is equal to integral of A to B dou F1 by dou X into dx. So on applying this over here, integral of A1 of F dot dA plus integral of A2 into F dot dA is equal to integral of, this 2 has been taken, and within that we have to apply this value. So integral of E to F, integral of C to D, integral of A to B, this dou F1 by dou X into dx dy dz is equal to integral of dou F1 by dou X into dV. So this is whenever we are considering the direction in with respect to X. If we consider with respect to Y means the same elemental components has been repeated, and the components will become dou F1 by dou Y into dV. If we consider with the Z direction, it will be volume integral of dou F1 by dou Y dou Z into dV. So this is given over here. By similar argument we can show with the areas A3 and A4 if we consider, it will give volume integral of dou f2 by dou y into dv. Like that, if the areas with respect to z we have to consider, means a5 and a6 has to be considered, which will be equal to volume integral of dou f3 by dou z into dv. So adding all these three, we will get area surface integral of f dot dA is equal to volume integral of dou f1 by dou x plus dou f2 by dou y plus dou f3 by dou z into dv, which is equal to volume integral of divergence of f into dv. So this holds the divergence theorem. This is the proof for divergence theorem. So we can find the divergence for this, like these are the problems with the divergence for Cartesian, cylindrical and spherical coordinate system. We have to solve problems on divergence theorem. We will share it in the next video. And next we have to move to Stokes theorem. Over the Stokes theorem, let S be an open surface bounded by a closed curve C. We have to consider first one surface, and over the surface a closed curve is going on, like that we have to consider, and over that curve we have to assume one vector f is acting on. So let S be an open surface bounded by a closed curve C, and vector f be any vector point function having continuous first order partial derivative. So the Stokes theorem is given as contour integral of f dot dr is equal to surface integral of curl f dot n cap into ds. That means we have to consider one surface, and over the surface so many field vectors are acting on in its normal direction. So the surface integral of this curl function, that is the rotational function, with its normal component is equal to line integral of that particular one field function. So here this n is the normal unit vector at any point S drawn in the sense in which a right-handed screw would advance when rotated in the sense of description of C. So in that way only the rotational effect is there. So the Stokes theorem is simply given as Stokes theorem relates a surface integral over a surface to a line integral, around the boundary of curve S. This is the Stokes theorem. So then the proof for the Stokes theorem is, we have to consider one surface, and over the surface we have to split the surface into n numbers. So S is suffixed to I, where I is equal to 1 to n, as it is done in this figure. Here n is equal to 9. So the line integral of f dot dr is equal to summation of I is equal to 1 to n. These are all closed loops, closed curve or closed loop. There is a single line effect, and so line integral of f dot dr suffix I. So this will be written as, these are all small rectangles. It has been given as infinitesimal 1. So summation of I is equal to 1 to n, contour integral of I into f dot dri in an infinitesimal space. So this has been by applying Green's theorem. It should be equated as summation of I is equal to 1 to n, surface integral of, these are all rotational and repetitive in nature, and so surface integral of del cross f. We are applying here a rotational effect over the surface. So del cross f dot n cap in normal direction, and so n cap ni into dA. This has been again written as surface integral of del cross f dot n into dk. That is a ds is that. So this has been elaborated in this link, maxlibertext.org, in bookshelves. Here this divergence theorem and Stokes theorem has been well explained. So that's all about your divergence and Stokes theorem.